What's going on, traders? Good morning. Let's get this trading day started. Let's go ahead and bring on my guys into the show. You guys already know Ryan's been super hot, so got Ryan back here. We got the one and only Spencer Israel. You got it. He got some moves. I got to show you guys that video. I got Spencer dancing, but
what?
Have
you seen Spencer's dance moves? I would never have guessed
has some moves, man.
Spencer can cut a rug. I would not have guessed it, but Spencer can cut a rug.
Cut a rug.
Spencer, how many years formally dance training do you have? Is it 10 plus? It looks like it's 10 plus.
Trying to think of a witty comment to say to that.
Spencer was in hip hop classes when he was younger.
Have you guys ever seen that video of Ryan Gosling as like a 10-year-old dancing? That was me as a kid.
Hey,
doing that 90s
you're singing in the rain.
90s pop choreography. That was me.
Okay, so what? Yes or no? Did you ever put your jeans on backwards like crisscross and dance? Okay. No. Okay, I just needed to make sure because that was crazy.
No. All right, guys, let's go ahead and pull up some screens. Let's talk some trade ideas. We got about 4 minutes to the bell here. I'm gonna just really quickly just give some ideas here, not to show the charts because I just want to run through it. I'm looking at lodging right now. Hilton has made a move recently, so some of the names that I'll mention are MAR, Marriott, H, Hyatt, and I'm also looking at some Airbnb today and VAC.
And what I want to do is I'll do it at 9:29 just to show you all. I'll bring out my scanner tool, and you can watch as the opening bell hits. You can watch the tool just populate with movers. Ryan, what are you watching this morning?
All right, so I got a couple of things. As you guys know, I was long Apple calls into the print. Apple had an amazing quarter and is trading down today. This makes the third quarter in a row that we've seen this kind of ridiculous performance. So I'm going to watch how this trades today. I have the August 150 calls, so it can still work out. We'll see how it goes. In small cap land, using the movers tool, I identified some of the gap candidates. We have INFI, India November, Fox India, GRVI, BTBT, and SPRT. Those are going to be technical trades based just off the movers. Also, I'm seeing here in chat, courtesy of our veteran trader Sandman, ASXC is up, but not much on FDA 501 clearance. So I'm going to be watching those tickers this morning right here out of the open. Top four here in my movers tool, then ASXC and Apple.
BTBT, since you mentioned it, was at one point up like 30% this morning.
Yep.
It was just craziness.
And you can see that this stock is actually no stranger to runs. In fact, just a couple of days ago, we had a massive run on volume expansion here. So we'd like to see something like this up again as well, or set up again as well. We also did have some exclusives today.
Yes.
Right. So we had an exclusive. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
AMPE. We're going to be watching this one today. We actually had three of them. ANTF. We're going to be watching this one as well. And then finally, Cooler, KULR. So these three exclusives that we did today, I'm also going to be keeping an eye on them. Don't have any trades planned for them yet. I'm going to react and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring up my Benzinga Pro movers tool, and I'll switch over to the scanner as soon as we open at 9:30. I am watching earning. We did not cover nearly all of the. We got nowhere near covering all the earnings reports from last night and this morning. I have not yet talked about McDonald's today. We barely talked about Pfizer for a hot second. I have not yet talked really about Mondelez, Visa. I want to hit on Visa, Juniper Networks, Bristol Myers Squibb, Wingstop, Tilray. We will be talking to the CEO of Tilray later today.
Awesome.
And I expect that interview to air at 4:00 Eastern time. There's tickers in the chat I want to get to. Oh shoot, there was a ticker that we didn't get to on pre-market prep. Somebody asked about, and I wrote it down, and all right, we'll cover that now, but I'll make sure to ask it. Matt, if you're watching, I wrote down your support.com comment, and we'll get there in a second. Okay, that being said, it is 15 seconds till the open. Let me get my scanner tool. You can see it is it's empty right now, but you will watch it populate at 9:30, and here we go. Boom! There we go. Alrighty, I got my gainers on the top, my losers on the bottom, and my 5-minute movers on the right-hand side. And let's take a look-see. What do we got?
Time to have some fun. Let's do this, guys. If you guys see a stock that's moving big,
yeah, call them out.
Let us know in the chat. We'll take a look at it. Bring it up.
All right. VIP's moving at the open. VIPS. I mean, everything's. Let's be honest.
So one of the areas that I want to watch are the Chinese EVs to see how those bounce back. They've been hit recently the last 2 days. NIO, XPEV. Let's see how those bounce back today.
Yeah, it's actually interesting that you mentioned that, Mitch, because all of China, which has been destroyed the past week or so, with some buy the dip action happening across the board. You can look at BABA. You can look at any of them. You can look at even the ones that are at the center of this madness, which is EDU, right? And what's the other one is TAL. You can see them both trading higher this morning, overnight. Impossible to say why, but nothing ever goes straight up or straight down. We say that all the time here. So, you see a 13% rip in TAL. We're still only at $6, so keep that on your radar. But some buy the dipping happening buying the dip happening in China across the board this morning. Can it hold? BABA does not want to hold. I'll tell you that. You can look at Alibaba right now. It does not want to hold. At least, it's looking like it wants to go down still. So.
One of the things I'm looking here for is some type of head fake with the major indices, right? So we got the Dow; it's basically flat, just up 21 points. S&P cash up 6 points here. I feel like there could be a pull coming here. Apple really trading poorly out of the open, just a huge red candle. We'll see if that gets bought. Just kind of biding my time, being a little safe here. If the market were down a little bit, I might be looking for relative strength. But right now, I'm looking for the next big move. It seems a little bit muted for being such a huge earnings week. It feels like there's still another shoe to drop.
All right, guys, looking at CCL right now, guys, it's looking interesting for me right now. It just popped up there towards 2330s in pre-market. I was looking at 2319, didn't get in there right there for a pullback into that area. We'll see if this one kind of can keep going. If you look at the pre-market 5 minutes, we got a resistance that it just ran through. It just did a 5-minute pullback. One of my favorite kind of plays are that 5-minute red to green, when you just attack the 5-minute low immediately out the gates, and then you just bounce right off of that.
Yesterday's high, 2333. We just popped above that here. That's bullish, Mitch. I like to see that. Let's see if we can keep pushing.
Yep. We'll see if we get a little pullback in this one.
Here we go.
A lot of popping this morning. Off of
Hot getting high.
Off of Tilray, but also I saw there was a headline about the House, I guess, preparing to vote on some nothing super huge, but cannabis ticky-tack legislation nonetheless. So Tilray, you can see on the screen. Well, actually, no, you can't see on the screen. Let's bring it up on the screen. Right there's Tilray. Tilray, you can see moving all of pot. Really, you can look at the MJ, the whole sector, more or less, not everything, but the whole sector. Much of the sector moving higher here. You can look at Kronos, right? You can look at CGC, green candles across the board. Not in all the ones that I own. I just looked at a couple of those. Green Thumb is trading light volume here, hard to say. TCNNF is another one that I own, trading higher as well. Curaleaf, another one that I own. Come on, chart. Chart doesn't want to cooperate. And CRLBF is the last one, Cresco Labs. So watching pot here, all off Tilray.
BT getting a little bit of volume. Apple no chill, just straight down out of the open here. BT no trade here. Didn't bounce off any of the levels that I had set up. I'm just kind of watching, waiting for a setup to come to me on this one.
Not that I see a trading setup, but just to mention that it's up. C's is up a decent amount. I think that's also Six Flags sentiment.
Yes. glad you mentioned that.
Six Flags.
Where's my C's chart? Let me pull up my Six Flags numbers for you. Six Flags, just like Boeing, return to profitability. Look at those numbers, everyone, on Six Flags. EPS of 81 cents versus an estimate of a 7-cent loss. They were expected to lose money, and they didn't just barely make money. They made money by 81 cents. It wasn't like they squeaked by at a penny or two. 81-cent EPS. Sales came in much higher as well, 460 million versus 330 million on the estimate. So a huge beat for Six Flags. Reopening. It's reopened. You should say it's past tense. It already happened. So Six C's fun. While you're at it, all trading higher here this morning off of that sympathy move.
Interesting. We got Facebook's report tonight. Facebook up just about 2% here. I see some of the other social media popping as well. Twitter trading up here. Looks like on the back of Facebook. Snap, we know that had a monster earnings, taking a little bit of a breather here, but still up since the earnings print. Pinterest looks like that's up a little bit today, but unable to hold it. Facebook should be interesting later. It'll be interesting to see how this trades. By the way, GRVI, one of the stocks off my movers list. I didn't have it up. It happened real quick. I'm not in it. We did have some big volume candles and a bounce off the 592 area, currently halted at 677. So I'm not looking to buy something directly out of a halt, but I do want to watch this in case we get another trade set up here. Volume and eyeballs seem to be on this GRVI.
With regards to Facebook, I'd be curious to get your thoughts, Ryan and Mitch. I mean, the bar has got to be so impossibly high for them. Not only did all the FANG stocks just have huge beats, but last week we had Twitter and Snap had huge beats. Those are Facebook's peers. Google blew it away. Digital advertising market's on fire. Hard to envision a scenario where Facebook either rips into today's report or rips at higher after the report, because the bar is so high, the numbers are going to be what they're going to be, but expectations are probably through the roof here. You have to think about it. You have to think about that. So, somebody mentioned McDonald's. Yeah, a theme that seems to be relevant this time around is companies saying, "Oh, things are all good in the U.S." It's globally that we're worried about. It's China we're worried about, right? You go to McDonald's here, EPS beat, sales beat, comps beat as well, up 40% year over year, up 7% quarter over quarter. But they said on the conference call, certainly a challenging environment, a staffing environment, not just in the U.S. Seems to be a lot of companies with global exposure to Asia, Europe, worried not so much about reopening in the U.S., worried a little bit more about reopening overseas. So McDonald's trading this morning lower from the open. We're down to a little over 1%. Again, this is one of the few areas of the market, one of the few sectors that had been in a clear uptrend heading into earnings, right? You look at the whole fast casual space, McDonald's, Chipotle got us started off here, but you got Wingstop. How is Wingstop doing this morning? Because they also reported Wingstop trading lower off of their report. So you talk about what the stock does into its report, how that can color what it does afterwards. The trend was strong for all of these things. So even though Chipotle did keep going, look at Chipotle, it gapped up and kept going. That also sets the bar high for everybody else. So Wing trading lower, not going the same way as Chipotle. McDonald's, same thing. We'll keep a close eye on these today.
As far as McDonald's goes, we just kind of broke out above highs. I mean, to be honest, a little bit of a back test here towards the 240 level. That wouldn't even be all that bad. The chart really doesn't worry me on McDonald's. So I mean, I think that this is okay. I think a little bit of a breather here is probably okay for the next leg up.
Okay. I don't disagree per se.
GRVI open looks like it had a high print here of 737. Looks like we're going to try to take that out. I tell you what, we take out 741. You got a potential move there. This is moving fast though. GRVI. Be careful. High risk too. We're already up quite a bit, almost 100% from maybe not almost 100%, but 55, 60% still up pretty good from yesterday's close. So we're going to watch that 740 level. 740, 741.
All right, guys, looking at Airbnb right now. Had a nice little pop to 142.79. Looking to see if it's going to hold the VWAP on a pullback right now. If it does make a little slight down move, reverse right back above VWAP, then close above VWAP, that's when I'd be looking to go ahead and jump in, trying to get it back up there towards that high, 142.79. The Airbnb life, who knows? Who knows? Let's take a look back here. What are the biggest movers right now? I have a BTBT at 25%, Tilray at 18%. Big movers of the day. AGFY at 8%, Sundial up 7%. That one's not a bad one. We know how that likes to spike for our cheap guys out there that likes our little cheap stocks. Can't blame you out there. OGI, cannabis stock moving up also 6%. CGC up about 6%. Kern is an interesting one, starting to push on also about 7% up there. So yeah, you're definitely right. The pot stock's high today.
Yeah. So Matt asked us about support.com and the potential for a squeeze. Yeah, this is looking squeezy. SPRT. So this is a low floater. It's got a little over 9 million shares. I mean, look at the chart. It just looks super squeezy. It's going again here today, or last couple of days at least. Let me see. It's down today, but it's been ripping for the last past couple of days. It's hard. It's so hard to find. On stock like this, when you get such a low volume, right, and these huge volume spikes relative to a normal day, technicals kind of go out the window in some respects, and in other respects, it's kind of the only way to control your risk when trading it. So, like, what jumps out to you, right? What's obvious is that high from March 22nd, right? That 945 high. That's what that was, yeah. And then it closed at 710 that day. It's tough, man. What was yesterday's close? That's important. Yesterday's high was 8 and closed at 674. Those levels are important here for support. Yeah. You want to see it hold yesterday's gains.
Well, and so far today, you know, we've seen it sell off out of the open, but it looks like it's catching a bid here. Pretty impressive intraday volume sticks. We're above that 812 level, which was the pre-market low. So I think as long as we hold that, we do have the bias towards the upside. Spencer, to your point about the all-time high, or excuse me, about the recent high, yesterday in the after-hour session, this put in a high print of 1088. Now it immediately pulled back off that. Let's see if
yesterday you said.
Yesterday's after hours session.
I see that right there.
And I'm sorry, 1088 is a little bit off. High print was 1086. My apologies. But yeah, you couldn't hold that. We'll see what happens if we can actually move back up towards that level. Again, right now for an intraday trade, I want to see this hold 812, doing an okay job right now. Volume is there. No trade confirm yet, though. I think if we can actually take out 836 and then maybe 862, you could get some mo behind this name.
Some Momo.
How's
by
the way, looking?
We were talking about Facebook earlier. Rug pull happening on Facebook. Dow holding in there at about plus 15. S&P cash turned red briefly, but we're still near flat.
Qs, I shouldn't say it. Qs are down. SPOOs are down.
Okay.
I'm watching the overall market now. I've got the S&P futures up, the Nasdaq futures up, the Russell futures up, and the Dow futures up. I always have all four open on my swim.
One thing I want to state that I think I feel I made the mistake yesterday was I traded long into that down move in the indexes. This is one thing that I looked back at it and I was like, that's not how you day trade, Mitch. That's not how I used to do it. I used to always only upswing when the SPY and the Qs were on their way up. If I see hard down actions in the indexes, I usually would be short-sided, not on the long side. So that's one thing I noticed yesterday. Maybe I made a mistake and I needed to review my own trading style, get back to it.
Really quick, NAOV, the honorable mention from the list, that seems to be the runner. Bounced really nicely off 160. Looks like we're trying to take out 2 here. 203 going to be your pre-market high. This thing is no stranger to pops and runs. You could get another one here. No position here yet.
All right.
Didn't have this one on watch.
Watching semis here. AMD is your leader. Follow the leader as AMD goes. Watching NVIDIA go with it. Really, the whole sector is going with it here. So follow your leader. What does AMD do? What AMD does will tell me what I would expect to tell me what the rest of the sector would do. So where's my chart? There we go. Micron actually holding up relative to the sector, but QCOM down. Whole sector, I think, down. How's TXN?
In the red. This is why I kind of stated that you got to be careful if you see the the Q's getting pounded on, and then you're trying to long tech.
Yes, it's a good point. It's a good point. The overall, it's not just semis. It's not just AMD. That's a better point, actually, Mitch. The Nasdaq is down. Most of tech, Apple is down. Apple is the biggest of the big, right?
And so you wait for them to show their reversals on the hourly. I like the hourly reversals.
Okay.
So that's what I'd be looking at now to calm myself down, because if you look at a 1 minute and you're looking at this chart, you're trying to just pick the bottom.
Well,
it's just really hard.
I got a 15-minute up, but you got Apple in the red. You got I can't type. You got Microsoft in the red. You've got Google. Again, all these companies just blew it away. Google barely holding on to green at the moment. You got Amazon, who reports tomorrow, in the red, right? Tech in the red. And what happens when tech is in the red? The money has to rotate somewhere. Now we find the rotation.
This one's looking good today. BGFV, guys. BGFV. Nice 5-minute chart. Looking like it's trying to continue on its way up. Resistance there at 2250. Let's see if it gets through that level. I would like to see a hard extension at that level. See if it could get towards 23. Then look for pullbacks. But definitely not a bad-looking chart. And it is on the rebound off the bottom support there. We'll see if this one starts moving. I know a lot of people are keeping their eyes on this one. Has a long-term trend line that you can kind of look to see if it can come back up of 27 would be overhead supply.
So you look at overall market here, and I've got a watch list in Pro of the FANG stocks and all the sector ETFs, and you see what's green. Well, energy is in the green. Banks are in the green. I suppose I should probably look at what the TLT is doing. Staples are in the green. I'm sorry, that's communication. Communications in the green. A lot of that is probably Google, though, because Google, I think, is technically in the communications
Tilray
sector. Tilray is still going. Okay.
Tilray, it just no stop, no chill, just straight up, just straight up. I think personally, from a tactical position here, if you're holding this from yesterday, so if your cost is anywhere between 13 and 1250 ish from yesterday's session, I think trimming here is probably prudent in terms of risk management. If you think that this can keep running, or you have a longer term view, that's totally fine. But you're getting some really impressive volume off of an EPS beat here. I think I'd trim, book some profits, and maybe let the rest of it run here.
Okay.
And then, really a spot on call here from James. Be careful with BT. It's holding up and Bitcoin is not. So, of course, we hit about 4,100 in the Bitcoin futures. We pulled back here to about 39.5. It looks like 39.5. So if that doesn't hold, you could see some move in BT. Heads up spot there, James.
Yep, definitely. Might actually look for a short on some of those plays.
Good call. Apple's trying to bounce here as Facebook continues to sell off. We'll see if that materializes into anything.
I made the right call.
Too early to call.
I did not make the right call on DraftKings. Oh, well.
Hey, it happens, bro. It happens. One of the things is the overall gambling sector hasn't come back. So that's what I would say about DraftKings. Get ready for some earnings. Earnings will maybe shake that up.
All right, we got a lot of stocks making big moves in the last few minutes here. Look at the right side of my screen here. Look on my 5-minute scanner here. Tilray we just talked about, but QS, QuantumScape, a lot of Chinese names on here. ChargePoint, CHPT, Jumia. I'm not talking about Jumia for weeks. It feels like on our show. Wish is making a move. Sava's making a move. GrowGen,
that's a nice one.
GrowGen announced a deal this morning. They're making a move. All to the upside here. So a lot of movers in the last few minutes here.
Well, I'll point out the Wish move here. Classic VWAP bounce, just pushing up, hold VWAP sideways, volume comes in on the push. Now you want to see it hold that resistance as a new support. So if this kind of pull back towards the 950 area, let it hold that if it does do any pullbacks. That's on the Wish. Someone looking like they're wishing upon a star, man.
I'm looking for you, Solar. PKKFF.
What you got on there?
OTC. I don't know. OTC. Not super liquid. I don't know if there's anything on this.
Sava looks really strong here. I know we got a lot of people that are trading Sava. Shout out to Hector there. He's been our Sava expert for a while.
Sava's supposed to have a headline this week. There's a big conference, big Alzheimer's conference.
Yep.
I think ends tomorrow.
Yeah, and then data due on Friday out of Sava, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me. I'll have to look into that after we're done here.
Airbnb recovering that VWAP. We'll see if I didn't get my entry. I wasn't paying attention to it, but it already recovered VWAP, holding there at 141.90s. We'll see if this one gets running there. And not a bad one. Definitely was on my watch list. We'll see if it gets a move there.
Triple D, the stock, not the person. Moving up here.
And not the Guy Fieri show, huh?
No, not the show. Not the show, yeah.
Shout out to the guy. I really like that show.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of those spots are actually really cool. Great show to watch before you go on a road trip too, because if you run into one of those spots, you can hit them. All right, ASXC looking like it wants to kind of pop here. Remember, this had not FDA 501 approval and not up as much as anticipated. Might get a run here.
Why is Nikola up? Don't think about it as Nikola being up. Think about it as the whole space being up. Look at QS, right? Look at ChargePoint. How's not Ride? Ride does its own thing. How's Lucid? I can't even remember the ticker on Lucid. LCID caught a bit at the open there. The whole space this morning seems to be going. How's Fisker? FSR is going as well, right?
Yes.
So don't look at it as why is Nikola being up. It's why is the whole space up? Why does it matter? But see if you can find a laggard and play that.
Agreed.
Interestingly enough,
QuantumScape kind of ripping out of the gate here as well.
There may be news. Maybe I just missed it. I'll hop into the pro. QuantumScape. No, that was Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Okay, they had QuantumScape had earnings last night, so earnings are relevant for a company like QuantumScape because it's such a long-term play. Last quarter is almost meaningless in the grand scheme of things. Wow. Look at space today, having a nice day.
Yeah, I saw MaxR was up a ridiculous amount in pre-market, but there was no news on it, so I didn't bring it up.
Good call out from James on DD, right? Can it hold yesterday's high on DD was that was from after hours. I'm trying to look. That was no, that was this morning. Yesterday's high in DD was 824. And did we hold it? What's the low? What's today's low?
PLTR making a move.
Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Yesterday's low in let me go to a 15-minute here. Yesterday's low in DD was where, or yesterday's high, yesterday's high in DD right there, right? 824. Where do we bounce today?
Ooh, good call out, Ryan.
825 we bounced. Answer my own question. Oh wait, you guys can't see much.
Spencer.
Yeah.
Palantir is really making a move now.
Is.
I really do like that breakout. Why? Because it came back towards the 21 pricing when we got the last big contract that started this move last time. Definitely that $21 level is an interesting level there for Palantir.
I feel like the problem with Palantir though is like there's so many people waiting on this thing that are underwater.
But how much can they really be underwater? I mean, look to the left. How bad could they really be underwater?
I don't know. I'm sure we can look at like
not much. I mean,
volume profile to get a feel. If we were on TrendSpotter, I don't know if we have those tools on TradingView charts.
No, let me. Can I address that real quick here because we get asked about volume profile kind of a lot, and it's a really a popular study. Okay. We definitely want to add that. Really, what it comes down to is the package that we get from TradingView does not include that. We are actively working to try and add that, but it's not as easy as just simply adding an indicator to our existing library. We actually need to negotiate that with the company. So we're trying to do that. It's not our development team that's blocking this. We are actively working on that.
You mean I can't just snap my fingers and get new stuff in Benzinga Pro?
No, you cannot. I wish we were able to do that though. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Not yet, man. Not yet.
Okay, still not straying too far away from tech. Just to keep an eye on it this morning because it will lead us either way. It'll lead us here. So Q's made a bit of a bounce here. QQQ. We have stopped going down for the moment on a 15-minute chart. Watching that, Russell solidly in the green for the day. Dow on the red. So we're decidedly mixed out there. Decidedly mixed.
One of the things that we talked about yesterday in the happy hour, one of the things that some of our pro guys were actually saying is they'd really like to see a divergence in the S&P and the IWM. So if you take a look at the IWM,
we've had that, haven't we? Had that?
No. I mean, I'm sorry, we have. We want to see when the S&P goes down, the IWM seems to get beaten down even more. And if you take a look at the daily chart, you'll notice that the IWM has traded sideways while the S&P has continued to go up. Wow. So yes, I'm sorry, Spence. Thanks for the correction. What we would like to see, though, is when the S&P goes down, we'd like to see some strength out of these small caps. That'd give you a nice little signal that some of these are going to be places to actually go if the S&P continues to pull down. But right now, when the S&P trades down, the IWM seems to get hammered even more. Not really a safe place to go with new trades.
So many people, I think, want to see the Russell bounce, and I think there is this growing feeling out there that, the SPY, to be frank, is just so concentrated in the same in the 5 largest stocks that the Russell is probably a better gauge of overall market sentiment. Right, the largest position on the Russell in the IWM, I think, is AMC, and I think it's like 1.5%. Is it like 0.5%? I think it's 0.5%. I think AMC is the largest holding in the Russell at 0.5%. Meanwhile, the 5 largest holdings in the SPY are like 25%, right? Combined. So a lot of people want to see the IWM start to go. It hasn't gone. There was that brief moment in time where it was outperforming. Maybe not that brief. It was a lot of last year.
Apple's bounce starting to speed up here. We're also seeing a bounce in AMD, seeing a pretty good bounce in NEO. Looks like things are turning around here a little bit. The scanner's really kind of lighting up too. Apple hitting the scanner. Yeah, this is continuing.
Yeah, so on the SPY, if you look at that recent candle right now, getting into that move now, this is the classic thing that I look for, a 10 o'clock reversal.
Let's go.
So let's see. Mitch. Let's see if we get that 10 o'clock reversal. We're getting right towards that time. Just want to put it out there. So if you start seeing big candles, this is when I looked at. Also, I try to use like either a 15 or an hourly, because that will show you that what you want to see is kind of like that you found some big support on the bigger time frames on your charts, because that can help you get that momentum back up to resistance. Doesn't mean they're going to break resistance, but even if you get that momentum back up towards resistance, that's a lot of times how you find their trades.
INFI breaking that pre-market high here on pretty good volume too. No position on that. We'll watch that. Kind of going through the list of the scanner here, Spencer, just kind of what you were doing earlier.
Yeah.
All right, guys, missing a little bit of this XPEV breakout there. Nice little push up to VWAP, held VWAP, now pushing on up. Let's see if NIO is moving on this. There you go. Nice little pop up in NIO. Let's see if we can get it back towards VWAP. A little pullback here. I'd be kind of interested. LI, let's see how that one's doing also. Looks like it's also starting to get above VWAP and holding. So pay attention to those. I would like to see those start breaking out.
Oh, you know what's interesting? Is that from earnings? I think it is. Ooh. Let me pull up this one for you here. 1 second.
Yeah, pull it up.
Right. Yeah, I mentioned we didn't cover nearly all the earnings this morning. Generac, GNRC, which again ran up into the report. Okay, trading down 11% here this morning. Let me get you those numbers here. Go to news. Generac reporting earnings this morning. EPS of 7 cents. Let's see how that compares. Go to a calendar here of earnings. Here we go, Generac. EPS of $2.39. Beat the estimate $2.31. Revenue beat $9.19 versus $8.63. So that means not the earnings that matter. It's forward-looking statements that the call starts right now, actually. So maybe there is guidance in the report. But Generac trading down now 11% and making new lows for the day. This is one of my like on my list of favorites that I don't own. This is one of them. Like favorite stock you wish you owned, Generac. getting punished here this morning. Also watching
NAOV setting up again.
What is
NAOV setting up for another potential trade here. We're kind of holding that level here. We'd like to see this push above 2. I think you might get some push above 2 if we can actually hang in here. So just kind of waiting on this. Sorry, I had it up on a different screen. My bad, Spencer. I had GE up. Let me pull up NAOV. The reason I'm watching this one is because this has traded recently. This has kind of gone a little crazy, and I feel like it's capable of doing that again. So looks like we had an announcement of a first order of one of their products that was shipped. It's been trading on above average volume, so just be careful here. Definitely don't want to miss it if we break anywhere near this 2 area, this double top area.
Okay, there are 2 stocks I want to put on your radar because we were wondering yesterday whether these were going to be buy the dip candidates, and they both seem like they might be. Workday and ATVI. Okay, so here's Workday. The news. What?
I said, let's talk about them. Sorry.
So the news was out yesterday. Actually, no. The company said the news was that we made this decision a year and a half ago. They had a contract for Amazon using their software. The contract is over. Stock got punished. And this seems like classic buy the dip type stuff to me. The company actually came out and said, hey, this news has no bearing on our previously issued guidance. So I'm watching Workday right now. It is trading higher this morning after closing at a high of the afternoon yesterday. I'm also watching ATVI that sold off on news of this lawsuit, potential employee walkout, potential brain drain, executives leaving the company. It's chaos over there. As I said yesterday, I can't really remember a prior example of this, of a stock selling off on news of a lawsuit of this kind, particularly when the lawsuit does not hinge on a figurehead CEO. Like, it's one thing if Steve Wynn or Elon Musk or whatever, but ATVI has no Elon Musk equivalent, right? Bobby Kotick is great, obviously, but he's people don't associate him with Activision as they do with Elon and Tesla, for example. So Activision trading higher this morning, making new highs of the day. I'm watching both of these. They seem like they want to get back to Monday's close.
Yeah, absolutely, Spencer. I think that's a really good point. All gaps, they generally want to get filled or at minimum tested. One of the things that we discussed yesterday, we actually were trading ATVI. This was a winner yesterday right here on our show with the puts, thanks to 13's tip. One of the things that we discussed here about this going forward is that, there is going to be some back and forth with this, right? And one of the things that we specified yesterday was that the earnings print may actually cause this to pop if the numbers are good. So we'll kind of see that today does seem to be a snapback day. This is one of the reasons why I wasn't necessarily keen on re-shorting it for a swing trade after the day trade took place yesterday. Oftentimes stocks will pop back here. The issues that are going on there are still worth watching. So this might be one of those things where the pop back may give you an opportunity to re-short, especially if you're able to do that after the print. So let's see how this goes.
When are earnings? I just didn't have to look
6 days from now. They're August 3rd after the market closes.
So they're right there, August 3rd.
All right, guys, I just wanted to let you know I would have taken a short there on Riot. Couldn't find the shares to easily short there, but that's the spot right there off the VWAP. 3270s is where I would have got short. Would be looking for a move back down towards the low. Let's see if that VWAP short kind of works here. This is called a VWAP fade.
Fade.
You got to sometimes just fade it.
Yep.
If you ain't fading, you ain't trading.
Yep. And so one of the things is what I usually do for trades like this is I'll usually take some profit into the first support and then look for the big breakdown of the lower support. Like right there, you saw it cut through the 38s, went through the 33s. You would have probably gotten 35 on the ass side. I would have probably taken half of it out right there. And then now you can just literally leave it at break even, hands off, put your hands up and let the trade work.
And so, Mitch, what are you doing here in this example? If we trade down to, let's say, 32.15 and we snap that and we look to test that low of 32.02, what's your plan here on that?
So the big thing is here, you have to look a lot at the level 2 and the time in sales.
Yep.
So one of the things I want to see is as the action comes down through there, I want to see people trying to get out on the bid side, showing you that those kind of buyers got stuck. And all of a sudden you see the orders just start slamming on the red. And as you get through to that big level, what I want to see at that big level is a big order go through when it breaks it, not little orders. So on the time in sales, I'm not paying attention to 100 orders. I'm looking for something, let's say over 1,000 shares. If not, really the big ones are over 10,000 shares.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be looking for. And some platforms will even allow you to kind of filter this out. I used to filter this out all the time, filter out 100 shares because I don't even care about that algorithmic volume. I just want to see the big buyers and big sellers.
Makes sense. James, I think in the chat, you had mentioned Paysafe, right? Ticker PSFE. This was one that I took a stab at a while back, about a month ago. I actually bought the October 15 calls, was hoping for a breakout. I never ended up getting it. Let's see where that actually was. I think that was probably right in here. I'll go back and check out when I buy, but I think I was trying to catch this bounce. We actually broke back down, and I'm just hanging on to these calls. They'll probably expire worthless. I liked this setup though, James. I share this with you. I liked this company. I liked the setup here. It didn't really materialize, but that doesn't mean there isn't a trade in the future. So I noticed that you had spotted that today. If you're up on that today or on a new trade today, congratulations. Keep it going. Looks like we're having a nice kind of strong day there. If we look to the left, as we've kind of talked about, we'd really like to clear out some of this near-term resistance right about high 10s, right under 11. I think if we do that, we might start our next leg up here.
Super interesting reversal for some of the I don't know if you want to call them meme stocks or viral stocks, whatever. But go look at AMC. Let me bring AMC up this morning.
Yep, I got it.
AMC and GameStop and stack those up against a Wish and BlackBerry, right? Going in complete opposite directions. I don't know if BlackBerry is like sort of in that group, but like not really. It had that one big move in January and I guess had another one in June. But anyway, BlackBerry and Wish going one way, AMC GameStop going another here this morning. Very interesting divergence.
What do we make of that? Are there other things? It's got to be more than just the memes.
Well, here's what I would say about AMC, and I mentioned this a couple of days ago as well, is they do have their annual shareholder meeting tomorrow. Probably nothing will come of that. They've already announced that the CEO Adam Aron is the chairman, is also the chairman of the board, and they're not doing any more offerings. But you never know with these things. You never know. Maybe somebody knows something. Maybe they don't. With regards to AMC, I can't speak to GameStop. I have no idea. But I don't really know. It's an interesting question. I don't have a good answer. Anyone in chat have a good answer as to why Wish and BlackBerry will be doing one thing this morning? GameStop and AMC would be doing something different.
The BlackBerry one I could see on sympathy with some of the other, tech stocks reporting good numbers, but I don't know that applies to Wish. So I think that hypothesis is kind of out the window. Yeah. Real quick check in here. ASXC, one of the stocks that we mentioned with the FDA approval and all that, really starting to grind higher here. I would watch this one. I think that there's more upside in this name.
And I don't know what kind of indicator this is, but I've got a couple platforms that I've talked about in the past that I use to sort of look at what's being mentioned on Reddit. And typically it's always the same names. It's always AMC, it's GameStop, etc. This morning, SPY, Apple, Microsoft, AMD, Tilray, Tesla.
That's amazing. Well, that just goes to show you that some of these blue chip stocks, even in the time of memes, in the world of memes, some of these blue chip stocks are still going to be traded. They're still going to be hot. It's never going to go away. And I think earnings has a lot to do with that. Apple looking really good, by the way. Real quick, I just want to shout out. There was someone in our chat here that bought Apple calls this morning, and you must be doing really well on them. Nice job there. Nice job, theater guy. Nice shout out earlier.
Look at that 10 a.m. reversal. Wait a minute here.
Didn't Mitch talk about that? I feel like Mitch was warning us about these 10 a.m. reversals.
I'm sure.
It never happens, though. It never happens.
Mitch.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of it.
I absolutely love it.
That's just experience, guys. That's
Casey, it was Casey. Casey Hansen, great trade this morning. Great trade on Apple. Buy yourself a steak for dinner.
Apple also, not coincidentally, the most searched stock on Benzinga Pro today.
That does not surprise me, especially on an earnings day. Spencer, I wanted to ask you, Spencer and Mitch, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask both of you about this. Yeah. I see Andre in the chat mentioning the Duolingo IPO today.
Yeah.
In my opinion, we had 3 big IPOs this week. We've got Duolingo, Robinhood, and then Traeger Grills. All right. So I'm unsure if Traeger's really is as big as the other two. Duolingo, I'm terrible at learning other languages, and from everything that I hear, Duolingo is the way to do it. Do either of you have an edge on this?
This is, I don't know what this says about, I don't know how much we can extrapolate here, but I have the Duolingo app, and I'd be very curious to know from the company how many of their like for example, Robinhood said that half their users use the app every day. I would love to hear Duolingo's answer to that question, because I have not been on that app probably in 2 years. I use it every day for like 2 weeks. Once upon a time, when I first downloaded the app, I used it every day for 2 weeks. I was like, you know what? I've like forgotten all the French I learned. I want to like re-up that a little bit. Use it every day for 2 weeks. It was easy. Haven't been back in 2 years. I don't know who else is on that boat with me, but I can imagine a lot of people use it in spurts. I don't know if you guys have ever used it.
No, I've never used, like I said, I'm really bad at learning another language. I've actually never used that before.
Yeah.
But I've had the exact same experience that you just outlined with other apps. There was this one brain game app that was supposed to boost your mental ability. I mean, for a week after I downloaded that, Spencer, I was in bed every day boosting my brain activity. And then all of a sudden it's just, poof, it's gone. And I just never opened it again. Got a new phone, didn't transfer it over, et cetera, et cetera.
Check out the big brain on Ryan over here. He's boosting his brain.
So and then quitting.
Solar mentioning what kind of brand smoker do I have? Is it a Traeger? It should be, I don't know, a Volcano or something. But no, I have a Chinese brand. I have a Chinese brand.
He bought it off Wish, is what he did.
You already know. I just wished upon a star and it came to my house.
Speaking of Traeger, Weber Grill has also filed their S1.
Exactly.
They're going public. I don't know if you guys are into that.
Did you see the opinion piece by Bloomberg yesterday?
No.
So they were pretty much talking about how in the pandemic, it became, instead of the Joneses, it became, what barbecue do you have? Your barbecue status was your status in the pandemic. Yeah. That's what they said. So, hey.
Yeah.
The big barbecues.
I believe it. And then Robinhood's going to price tonight and then open tomorrow. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. So Duolingo today, Robinhood tomorrow, as you just said, and then Traeger also tomorrow. So this was a huge week, man.
I frankly don't care about Traeger, to be honest. Sorry.
Okay. Are you a Weber guy? Do you not like Traeger or something?
No. Just in the context of IPOs this week, I just don't. I'm sure the grills are fine.
But I don't see Spencer grilling.
Well, I mean, I live in an apartment, and I don't exactly have a lot of balcony space for a big grill. So I'm more of a George Foreman guy.
You don't get in trouble like me, just barbecuing off the balcony.
At the moment, I'm a George Foreman guy.
I'm in the same boat. I have a condo unit and I've got a balcony out there. I'll tell you what though, I bought a 2-burner grill from Costco, a KitchenAid grill, and it has changed my entire summer. My entire weekend revolves around the menu that we're going to go ahead and grill. It's propane. I got a fire extinguisher just in case. Cover your bases, Spence. You can do it. You can do it, my man.
Whoa, Jason Chubb now throwing grenades at me in the chat. I cook.
I love Chubbs.
I cook for myself, just to be clear. I just don't have a giant grill right now.
Spencer's the guy that goes to the guy's house that's grilling. He knows how to do it. He goes to the guy that's grilling, not he grills himself. I mean, hey, you don't have to clean up, right?
Yeah, and it's easy, right? Just follow the delicious smell in the neighborhood of the grill. That's an easy one.
Guys, Riot reversing here. Didn't get down towards the low of the day, but that's why maybe it's good to take profit at that first low. So not a bad thing. I would have stopped out there, break even on the rest, but would have got first reward. So that's not a bad trade.
Also, a reminder for whatever it's worth, we do have the Fed at 2:00, followed by
the Fed
at 2:30. You know what, Mitch? We should
what
probably
did they say?
Mitch, we should probably restream that.
Yeah, let's get that rolling.
I'll get that set up. I'll get that set up after we're done here. We'll stream that press conference.
INFI pushing here too, by the way. Apple's bounce continues. INFI, one of the stocks on the watch list from the movers tool and pro this morning, having a nice strong day here. Continuing to push. This is a little bit easier to trade here. It doesn't have those big snapback moves. Just kind of easier in general to trade on.
With regards to Robinhood, real fast before we move away from that, I know that everyone online is joking about shorting it, but like you can't just short an IPO off the hop like that. So,
there's kind of a lockup period, right?
So, well, there actually in Robinhood's case, there may be a much smaller lockup because they're allocating more of their shares to the public and to their own clients. But in any case, you can't just hop on and short an IPO. They can be a little hard to borrow.
I was going to say you got to borrow those shares from someone. So
right. So it'll be interesting. Regardless of what the sentiment is, I still wouldn't be surprised to see the shares rally on the first day, only because typically buying power into the IPO. But I don't really know because we've never really had an IPO allocate this large a percent of their float to retail investors. So maybe they all just turn around and flip it. I don't know. I'm not going to buy it. I will not. I will not buy the stock for a trade. I won't buy it for an investment. But I've already got one trade on one play on for the retail investor, and that's SoFi. I don't need a second one, frankly.
Gotcha.
So anyway, it's 10:16 here. We'll hang out with these two for about 15 minutes, and then I'll let them hop, and I'll just YOLO with you guys until SPACs Tack at 11 o'clock. Speaking of SPACs Tack today, Mitch, I saw you're talking to somebody that bought a bowling company. Is that right?
Do you got a strike in you? Who's hit a couple, at least a close to a perfect game?
Oh, no. I thought you were going to say a strike. My top score is 199.
Kidding me? I don't even think I've broken 200.
What? Come on, man. We got to go bowling when I
I haven't bowled. I don't even know the last time I bowled.
Mitch, I think this is the boomer in me, I guess. I think bowling is super fun. My top score ever is 199. I'm not very good. I have a good time every time I do it. So the next time that we can go bowling, I'm in. You give me a call, I'm in.
I'm in it. I think I usually get around 4 to 5 strikes.
Wow.
That's really good, actually.
Let's do it. It's the baseball in me. I just line it up, man.
It's all just a repetitive motion, right?
Yeah, it's just repetitive. Once you get it down packed, just blast it through, man.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting. We'll be talking about that. And one of the things that is interesting is this company does own the license to the Professional Bowling League. So I think that's really where they're making a lot of their money. Let's say sponsorships, advertisements, that kind of thing. So
okay.
We'll be talking about that.
So that'll be on SPACs at 11:15 today. I'm watching China right now, continuing to see buy the dip action coming across the board, whether you're looking at broad KWEB ETFs or specific EDU or BABA. Again, I am going to be hands off, but the thing about stocks in massive down moves like this is they're liable to rip higher on you. I have never known how to play this and control my risk. So if someone could tell me, I would love to be able to participate in some way, shape, or form. But knowing me, as soon as I buy, it would continue going down, and as soon as I sell, it would rip higher. So I don't know. I've just never been able to figure that out. But anyway, you are seeing China trade higher across the board here today.
Yeah, real quick, 2 things real quick. Number one, I just want to shout out the chat in Benzinga Pro.
Yeah.
For all of you that you guys are here trading with us, that's awesome. One of the things that I'm actually watching here is the day trading room in Benzinga Pro. And I got to be honest, one of our pro day traders in here just called out AUPH and called out the spot before it popped and actually ran up 20 cents. Literally, I mean, if you're in the chat, you could easily play. There were multiple trades on this today. So shout out to the Benzinga Pro chat. They are constantly looking for plays. Check it out if you haven't. The other thing that I'm looking for here is I'm going to be watching these indexes. Spencer, you mentioned we got Fed stuff coming later today. The indexes here, they seem, again, Dow's down about 100 points. S&P is flat. S&P cash is about flat. We're seeing a humongous bounce in Apple. Facebook is bouncing. It's retraced almost all of the sell-off that we had today. So it's going to be very interesting to see if this holds up and then how things change once we get information out of the Fed. That's probably my big watch for the day today right now.
Yeah, there's been a couple of genetic stocks that have been moving today, so definitely pay attention towards those. Healthcare making some moves. I've been watching one on the long term, FLGT, making a good move up today, but that's kind of a long-term investment stock. Not really, at least I'd recommend a day trade that one.
You know what is interesting? I was talking about this morning with Mitch and Joel. Is the massive crash? I think it's fair to call it a crash. The massive crash in China the last couple weeks is sort of a really good test case for how quickly can a firm like Ark Invest get out of a position if they had to, if they were under the gun and they had to, because they've been selling off their China stocks every day for the last 2 weeks. But it's taken them a while. Like as of yesterday, they were still selling. They still had more to go in JD and Pinduoduo and Tencent, right? And BZ, right? So it's an interesting test case, a real world test case to see how fast can they unwind their positions, because they were huge in a lot of these stocks. And it's taken them a couple of weeks, which is interesting. Though the one fund where they haven't really had to do that is their ARKG, their genomics fund, because that one has very little China exposure. So all these funds trade together, but it wouldn't shock me for a second if you start to see some divergence once people realize, wait a minute, ARKG has very little China exposure as opposed to the KW, the KK, the KF, et cetera, but they're all pretty correlated, generally speaking. But very interesting to watch them navigate this as everybody sort of runs for the hills.
The one thing about the ARKG, the gene editors that you talked about, some of those have wild swings on their own. Even if they're not China, I mean, if you look at NVTA, that thing's wild. That thing was in the 20s, went up to 60, back down to the 20s now. So this thing is no stranger to swinging around. I mean, and of course, I'm not even going to bring up NTLA because that's probably the big winner of the year. We talked about this early when we started Happy Hour in the 20s. We talked about NTLA in the 20s, printing 136 here today. So these stocks have been absolute monsters. To your point, Spencer, about that not having China exposure, I think this is a really good pickup on your part. And I agree with you. I like a lot of the companies in here. That might be one to swing long.
All right. I haven't popped on over to the scanner in a while. Hey, speaking of China, DD's on there. And pot is continuing to move.
Pot's going higher. Sorry, I'll show myself out.
No, that was funny.
You look so mad.
No. That one took a while to get through to me, but that was good.
Okay, as long as it wasn't horrific, I can deal.
No. That took a second to hit, but
it took a second to hit. I see what you did there. Okay, Sundial now. Sundial also going up on the back of Tilray here. So. Ford, here by Theater Guy. Ford is going to be reporting earnings after the close today. I do want to kind of see that.
Oh, I would be nervous. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not in it.
Man, would I be nervous?
Doesn't look good.
And why would I be nervous? Because we're coming off a huge move for a stock like Ford, and what are they going to say that they haven't already said? We just came off 3 announcements about the Bronco, and I don't even remember the name of the electric truck. The Endurance. That's not it.
Wasn't it the Lightning Electric or whatever?
The Lightning. The thing. That's it. We already had that stuff months ago, right? We had that stuff in June. What else are they going to say about it they haven't already said? Besides just more timeline stuff. I don't know. Stock has gone from 16 to 13. I would be nervous here if I was in Ford.
All right. Someone talking about Lucid Motors in the chat. Want to go ahead and just do a quick analysis on this. This is what you call a symmetrical triangle, guys. So where you're getting those bounces, and a lot of times you'll see it that the VWAP is kind of running through the middle of it, and that just shows you how it's a chop zone right now. What I would look for is confirmation above resistance or confirmation below support. So with this being said, you're just getting that sideways trend right now. You want to see it break out with some volume in the direction that it's heading.
A good spot there. Nice triangle, James. Or James. I'm reading the chat and trying to talk to Mitch at the same time. That'll get you in trouble. Nice spot there, Mitch.
Well, let's see if this one starts taking off. It would be interesting if it gets above VWAP with a lot of volume towards the 2590s. That's the kind of interesting move to the upside.
Wait, Kumbaya says he has 400 leaps in Ford. 400 well, okay, if they're leaps, then
skip them I do.
Right? And if they're leaps, then like you got time, bro.
Yeah, especially leaps.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I wouldn't be stressed yet if I were you.
Unless he did those leaps last year.
Maybe, yeah.
But even then, I mean, would you be worried? I mean, you'd probably be deep in the green. So,
yeah, you know what? 400 long-term call contracts, that would be enough to make me nervous too. I empathize with him. I hope it works out for him.
What's the most contracts you've ever put on in one trade, Ryan?
In me, 60.
60?
60. That was Bank of America. Bank of America, yeah. And you know what the funny part is I went in at like 30 contracts, and then it actually traded back down, and I was like, oh no, this trade's going to work. Load up another 30.
No. Surely it's not the market is not wrong, or surely I'm not wrong. Everyone else is wrong. Right?
Yeah. It's got to be the entire rest of the world. That's
everybody
wrong,
else is wrong. Okay. Q's continuing to rip higher here. So watching tech. Watching the Qs, watching Apple keep going, watching Microsoft keep going, watching Google keep going. Microsoft's trying to turn, it is green, trying to turn green from the open. Google, same story there. But watching the Qs here making new highs of the day just now, just a few minutes ago. The QQQ on this most recent candle. There's my chart, you can see. So, any non-long-term argument for holding Lucid? Probably not. The same goes, but it's not just Lucid though. It's all space. Like if I owned any of these EVs, why would I want to hold it for a day trade? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, it just depends though, because I mean, you're talking about Lucid that has the hype behind it. It's a little bit different than, let's say, trading a Faraday future where majority don't even know the stock. It's like trading Tesla. As long as it's the highest trending EV, I think it's not a bad thing if you're day trading them. I mean, they do move. FSR today, you could have made a trade off of, but I mean, it's all what you find works for you. You know, if you're a swing trader, these kind of make more sense. But right now, I mean, the swing traders have been getting chopped up, and the day traders have been winning because they've been getting in and out of positions versus swing traders, which hold usually into the overnight. You could run into other forces like the market itself.
All right.
I'm sorry, Spence, for running you over there. But Mitch, you really hit on something there that I completely agree with. This is actually one of the reasons why I'm looking for these low-priced day trade opportunities off of the movers tool every day, is because the swing environment is not as conducive to winning trades as it has been in the past. And the reality, I don't try to pound a square peg into a round hole. If it's not working, I'm going to adjust my strategy to something that is working. And a lot of the time, scalping day trades can actually help get green on the screen so that I'm not making emotional decisions while I'm watching some of my swings pull back or get blasted or anything like that. So this is why we do that. This is why we do that. When the swing market isn't really working for you, look somewhere else, get green on the screen, and wait to hit it again.
All right, as far as
Phil, guys, no Phil. I just wanted to. I was trying to get a Phil there for it to show us a Lucid trade, but no Phil. Starting to push up there to 26.
All right, as far as the overall theme of the day, stay-at-home trade is on. Reopening trade is very much off here. You can look at Teladoc, which is trading higher from the open at the lows. Zoom, same story.
How's Chewy?
I don't know. Peloton, you can see is in the green. Chewy, I have not looked at today. I assume it's in the green. It is. On the other side of that coin, reopening trade. Look at the airlines trading lower. JetBlue had earnings lower. Save Spirit reports tonight lower. Cruise lines lower. Right. We looked at the restaurants. McDonald's lower. Reopening trade off here today. Very clear trend. Stay at home trade on. Reopening trade off. Very clear today.
And we'll see what happens with the Fed. That should actually give us a window into tech.
Maybe. I'll be honest with you guys. I have no idea. I never know how to interpret those Fed speak. It goes over my head. It goes in one ear, out the other. Whatever cliche you want to use, I have no idea how to interpret.
What I've always noticed is that you just gotta be really quick on those minutes. Yeah. On the minutes release. That's what matters more than even the actual presentation. But we'll see right. If Lucid can keep going. It did get that pop at 26. We'll see if it keeps going.
Ryan, you seem like a boosted brain kind of guy, says Sunky Man.
Boosted. Yeah, I saw that comment. I'm going to take that as a compliment. That's just an attitude that I have. Boosted brain sounds
turbo.
Good. I did have my 4-berry smoothie with spinach this morning, so maybe that is accounting for that. I'm not really sure. No flies today. Today was a rest day, Mitch. Today was a rest day today.
I can't blame you. Can't blame you.
All right, guys. It's 10:30. I'll let you hop. Thanks for hanging out with me. And Mitch, we'll see you on SPACs in a half hour. And Ryan, we'll see you for the Benzinga Pro happy hour at 4 o'clock today in Benzinga Pro.
You got it. And I'm looking forward to coming back tomorrow.
One thing I want to ask the chat, guys, if you guys are out there, we're trying to go ahead and get better and better every single day for you guys out there to go ahead and have that market commentary that you guys want to trade with. So let us know in the comments after. What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? This can help us bring you that content that you guys want out there.
Yep. And I put the call to action out. See, guys, I put the call to action out yesterday. I'll do it again. We had several people reach out. I said, hey, if you want to come on the show, shoot us an email. And a few of you did. You emailed shows@benzinga.com. And I'll do it again. Call to action. I will respond. Well, maybe it might not be me. It might be somebody else. But somebody will respond to you. And talk about it. But if you want to come on with us, hang out for a few minutes one of these days, let us know. Shows@benzinga.com. If for some reason you're watching this entire time and still have no idea what platform we've been using Benzinga Pro. Pro.benzinga.com is the URL. Get that up on the screen. There it is. Pro.benzinga.com. What else did I want to? Whoops. Well, let's keep that open too, right? Disclaimer, right? Obviously, super important. All the information on our show meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. I wanted to find. Yes, this is what I wanted to play for you. Benzinga Pro. Check it out.
When you want to maximize your performance in the market, you need access to the highest quality tools and news available. Benzinga Pro stands out from all of the options you'll be presented with, and their instant access to market-moving news positions you to be prepared to take on the market in the best ways possible. Here's how it works. Benzinga Pro's news desk creates original news content that's available on your main news feed and gives you actionable information about companies you may want to invest in. This news desk information gives you the chance to beat the market, receive impactful news as it breaks, and jump on trending stocks before and as they rise. And beyond that, Benzinga Pro is packed with helpful features and unique insights that give you the best information possible. There's tools like the Live Audio Squawk, which streams every day with important news and timely updates, and the real-time news alerts that allow you to stay on top of every developing story you're keeping tabs on. Alerts and news will be sent straight to your inbox or delivered as live sound alerts. For those investors that want real-time, actionable, and breaking news about companies they may be looking to invest in, Benzinga Pro is the tool to use.
All right, I'm going to bring on my Pro and I'm going to turn on my Squawk, and we're going to hear from Benzinga Charlie for the next few minutes. So if you have Squawk on your own, turn it off. But do not forget to turn it back on when we're done here. And let's hear what Charlie has to squawk for us today. Let me hop into the chat. I'm going to throw on a new background. What background should I do? Let's do that one. Nobody responded to you, Shelly. What? Shelly? When did you email us, Shelly? Ellie, I'm sorry. When did you email us? If you email Jason directly, you're better off emailing shows at Benzinga because that goes to like several people. It doesn't go to just one person. I'm sorry, Shelly. Spam us if you want. Somebody will respond to you. I promise. All right, let's get McDonald's off my screen here. Let's go back to the scanner tool.
Marathon Digital, December 80 call sweep now in MARA, Michael Alpha, Romeo Alpha.
All right, we got some call buying. But for every buyer, there must be a seller. Back to the scanner. No real stocks making big moves in the last few minutes here. More just continuation from that 10 a.m. reversal, right? We talk about that all the time. QQQs, double bottom. Look at the double bottom. Look at that. Look at that low. Oh, it's like too easy. It's too obvious, right? The low from the 930 candle was 363.24.
Anko shares hitting 597 at the high. Tango Yankee Hotel Tango right now at the highs up about 38.5%. Tango Yankee Hotel Tango.
The low from the 930 candle, 363.24. The low from the 945 candle, 363.30 is just a 6-cent difference there. And the candle closes were almost identical as well. It's just
and shares halted on a circuit breaker in Shine Code. Tango Yankee Hotel Tango.
Tango Yankee Hotel Tango. Okay. Crazy stock of the day. Methinks. Yes. TYHT. Do we have news? Probably not. No. Just craziness. All right. It's halted now, so who cares? Who is that man? That man is Charlie. That man is like Benzinga employee number 1, I think. He is our squawker. Let's be honest. If you use Benzinga Pro, we don't expect you to be staring at
Applied DNA Sciences, APDN shares at the highs now, $5.44. Alpha Papa Delta November.
We don't expect you to be staring at your screen the whole time. You got to be looking at your other stuff, your account, right? So Charlie will squawk. He will read out loud headlines as he sees them. So it's just easier, right? It's faster to hear it than it is to read it. He's been doing this for like 20 years. The guy is a beast. The guy works like 13 hours a day every day. He's online at like 5 a.m. And he's saying the ticker is in the NATO alphabet, right? So alpha is A, Papa is P, for example. Delta is D, Nancy is N, right? Yes, Shelly, we've all been there. It happened to me like yesterday, where you forget the squawk is on. I was on a phone call, or I was on a Zoom call, and my squawk came on, and I freaked because I just forgot. So yes, Charlie will definitely scare. He will scare you if you forget you have him on. That's for sure. Oh, Zunaid coming through in the clutch with the NATO alphabet. I'll keep it open for reference. Thanks, Zunaid. You want to be Charlie in 30 years? I'll tell him you said that. I would love to get Charles on the stream with us, but he kind of can't. He's too busy, doing his real job to hang out with us, which is sad. But I understand it. So that's hilarious. I think he'll get a kick out of that. Okay, what else? Going back to my scanner. Teladoc still? No way. Really? Oh man. All right. What's the close? Yesterday's close was 140? No. 151? 151. All right. That's the next level to keep an eye on. 151. I would go long into that. See if we can break through. I don't know, man. That's so tough. That's so tough. Will Benzinga ever come to the Phoenix area? Speaking of Phoenix, I did see that I don't know 705. Your housing market is like the hottest housing market in the country. I'm sure you probably knew that. You didn't need me to tell you that, but the Phoenix housing market. This is off topic. I'll get to your question, but the Phoenix housing market is the. Where's the stat? I think I saw it in the Wall Street Journal. Let me find it real fast because I want to get it right. There we go. Phoenix had the fastest home price growth in the country last month for the 24th month in a row. Anyway, yeah, we will consider coming to Phoenix for sure. We actually have our very first in-person conference post-pandemic coming up in October. It'll be in New York, and that'll be our cannabis capital conference. But yeah, we can certainly. We've had events in New York, in Detroit, in Chicago, in Miami, in Toronto, in San Francisco. We will certainly consider Phoenix if there is an appetite for that. There are no plans at the moment. How did I get started?
Boeing BA, Boeing CEO says further.
Yeah, what else is new, Boeing? Whatever they say, I'm sure it's not good.
Gradual increases in max production rate to correspond with market demand and supply chain capacity. That on their call says still anticipate remaining regulatory approvals for the 737 MAX this year. That's BA Boeing.
Oh, okay.
Shares of Boeing now off the highs at 234.59, up about 5.5% following their earnings report. Bravo Alpha.
Still watching the stay-at-home trade. Still watching Zoom. Watching Peloton. How about Roku? Ooh, Peloton reversal. Interesting. Okay, Roku was in that massive uptrend that got interrupted by a couple weeks there. Jesus. Also one that I wish I owned perennially. Okay, so let's bring up an earnings calendar just so we're all on the same page with as far as what to expect later today, tomorrow morning. Here's the calendar for tonight. Facebook, Qualcomm, Ford, Lam Research, PayPal are the biggest names on my list. Spirit as well. I guess they're interesting. Tomorrow morning, Merck, AstraZeneca. We will see if AstraZeneca does the same thing that Pfizer did this morning. And by that, I mean raise their guidance as it pertains to the Delta variant. Yum Brands, one of the few stock, not one of the few. Yeah, I mean, kind of one of the stronger stocks in the S&P right now. MasterCard and Altria and Comcast. Let's look at the credit card companies briefly here. Let me get my Pro up on my screen. We had Visa earnings. Did not talk about Visa yet. Let's do it real fast. I have not seen the numbers, or I have, but I don't remember what they were. So Visa reporting earnings last night, $1.49 versus $1.34. Sales of 6.1 versus 5.85 billion. So they beat it easily. Always curious to get the analyst reaction the following day, right? So here you've got analysts. They like it. No downgrades, just price target catch up. Anyway, so that's Visa. Let's pull up the chart of V. And okay, it's trying here today in the red by a smidgen, but up from the open. Now, Visa, that was a good report, not like amazing, didn't like blow me away or anything. It was good though. They beat
EB BlackBerry, the weekly $10 call sweep now on BlackBerry. Shares up now about 9% at a high of $11.
Pulling up a chart of
BlackBerry.
of MasterCard, Visa, and American Express together.
Bravo.
AXP has been just a beast, just crushing it. Let's just zoom in though. Last few days. So AXP they reported last week, I think, last Friday. That was AXP that was earnings, that big run up in the blue line right there. Okay, so AXP blew it away. Visa blew it away. What does that tell you? If MasterCard doesn't beat, watch out. But let's be honest, they probably will. Most often than not, companies beat expectations. It's because expectations skew conservative, right? There's been research on that. So expectations skew conservative, just like analysts skew bullish. Yeah, Robinhood will be IPOing tomorrow under the ticker HOOD. I'm sorry if I talked you out of the stock. What can I say? Have conviction. I don't know. I'm still convicted in what I think. I'm not changing my mind on these. I will not touch this stuff. I could be convinced for like a day trade. Like, you buy it, you hold it for like a couple hours. I could be convinced, sure. But overnight, no way. No way am I holding anything overnight from China. Sorry. Not going to happen. Happy. That's the best feeling of the day, right? You make a couple good trades at the open, and you can sit back and enjoy the rest of your day. So looking ahead, speaking of the rest of the day, we got SPAC Stack at 11. We got Power Hour at noon. Do we know is Luke on today? I hope so. I hope he's back from the dentist. We got Get Technical at 1 o'clock. For those of you who don't get a chance to watch our Monday show with Jake Wujastic on TrendSpider, Mondays at 5. Jake will be on Get Technical today at 1:30.
GOVX, GOVX.
Sure.
Golf Oscar Victor X-ray share spiking here on volume. GOVX, Golf Oscar Victor X-ray.
Oh, hey now. Big volume spike there.
So $5.09.
Jake Wujastic will be on with Neil Hamilton at 1 o'clock. Moon or Bust at 2 o'clock. Our DeFi and altcoin show. First trade will be live. Well, we're going to be airing the next episode of 3. At the close, myself and Joel will be on at 3:30. We're going to be doing our how to use Benzinga Pro demo with Mike Rao at 4 o'clock, followed by Penny Lane at 5. Options Mike at 6. Aftermarket Therapy at 7. In the midst of all that, we'll be streaming the Fed announcement. We'll be streaming the Facebook earnings call. What time is that call? I should probably know if we're going to stream it. I think it's 5. Yes, it is call. It is at 5. So we'll be streaming the Facebook call at 5 o'clock. If you missed, we streamed the Apple and Microsoft calls yesterday. We streamed the Tesla call on Monday. We streamed the Twitter and the Netflix calls last week. Trying to do a lot more of that. All of that can be found on our
Line RX shares getting a pop here to the high. Bravo Lima Romeo X-ray shares up about 1.5% now. BLRX. Boeing BA, Boeing CEO says continues to expect to deliver the first 777X airplane in late 2023. That's Bravo Alpha.
You never want to stray too far from big tech, especially the ones that reported just now. Apple, GOOG, Microsoft. We just want to keep them not far from our minds. Because as they go, so will the market, frankly. Sort of stinks, but that's the way it is. How's Tesla doing today? I don't look at Tesla at all. They all look the same. They all charts look the same. Am I going to regret not actually buying the? I am going to regret not buying the. Damn it! Why don't I? I should have just stopped what I was doing. I should have stopped talking, and just put the trade on ATVI and Workday. ATVI I still have time, actually. I think I'm going to do that right now. Go into my Webull account. Got to log in. Let's go place an ATVI trade. This looks like a dip that wants to be bought. I'll have a mental stop. No, I could throw it a hard stop. I could throw it a hard stop at today's open, 84. ATVI. I'll figure that part out later. Let's worry about getting in first. I know I'm not going to risk more than a couple bucks. TVI, we'll buy it. What are we at now? 86.71. Okay, I'll throw a limit order out there. Okay. 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 And an ATVI. We'll watch it. What did I buy today? So far, just that. I'll stop my. I'll keep this one on my screen. You don't throw out a stop order. I'll at least have it open, and I'll stop myself out if we fall through today's open, which was 84.90. So I'm risking a little more than $1.50 on this to get back to, Monday's close, right? Which was 90. That's where I'm at. On ATVI, what do I think of X? They report. That's interesting. So they report tomorrow, but the conference call is not till Friday morning. Do they always do that? The conference call is the next day? Okay. I mean, I've got small cap infrastructure exposure. I don't own US Steel, but I own like an ETF of small cap infrastructure plays. Steel is going back to what US Steel does, right? This is like historic US Steel where it like doesn't really move or moves down. I think so many of these things get overextended. It's impossible to really. The fact that it's more or less held these gains of this year from this year is positive to me. I like that it's really not that far off the high. Like, what's the high of the year? 29. We'll call it 30. We'll call it 30. We're not that far off it, right? I mean, I've seen many worse charts than this from a chart standpoint. Now you can also look at that downtrend, that channel right there. I'm not going to draw lines, but you can see it. So as long as you hold that support, which is what, somewhere in the low 20s, around $20. Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't know what the numbers are going to be. Let's see. Let's take a look at earnings history in U.S. Steel.
Alibaba shares popping to the highs of 194.56.
He always says Alibaba.
BABA.
That's
Bravo Alpha.
That's the New Yorker in him. U.S. Steel always beats typically on their EPS. A little more mixed on the sales. This is not the end all be all by all means. Wow, look, that's interesting though. The EPS estimate for this upcoming report is over $3. That would be a record. I mean, it's going back to the last decade. That is interesting. Record revenue estimates as well. No, I take that back. Sorry. They had high revenues 8-9 years ago. Yeah, these stocks that trade OTC markets, right? PKKFF. Not one of the problems. Not a lot of information out there about them. I didn't see any press releases when I looked earlier. Solar up. Let's go back there. Wait, what's the damn ticker? PKKFF. So when is this uplist happening? Solar up? Trying to go back here in a press release. don't see anything. Unless it's here. What is this? They're a fintech provider to Chinese commercial lending. Oy. Oh gosh. All right.
Zangman, ZME halted on a circuit breaker at the high. Zulu Michael
I don't
Echo.
know.
Zangman Education. Zulu Michael Echo.
Oh, look at Sava making a move here. Still high of the day in Sava. Look at this run. Look at this run in Sava, everyone. Holy cow. That was the Biogen news, that green candle, February 2nd. Right? Pretty sure. Oh, my goodness. Congrats to everyone buying down here. That's a gumption. That's when buying the dip can work. Let me catch up on chat. How is you and Roblox and all those guys doing today? Yeah, the whole sector, right? Even EA. Even EA. Would have been the dog of the group.
Boeing CEO says continues to expect passenger traffic to return to 2019 levels in 2023.
2023?
2024 return to long-term trend a few years thereafter. That's Boeing Bravo Alpha.
It's going to take 2 years to get back to 2019 passenger levels. Oh my goodness. And that's like and you know, if he's saying that, that's like a best case scenario, right? Wow. Yeah, congrats, Hector. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right, it is 10:56. So I'm gonna get ready to hop off with y'all. I may be back on the Power Hour today. I don't know where Luke and Jason are. I hope they're on because, frankly, that's what you all want to see. You all must be sick of me by now. But yeah, you may see me on there. You may not. Regardless, hope you guys had fun doing this. We're trying to do this more often. We will have David Green back next week, but we are trying to figure this out. It's a fluid situation. It's a fluid situation with regards to this 9:30 to 11 o'clock block of time, because we've gotten some really good feedback from all y'all. We want to figure out how to do this more often, and yeah. And then for those of you that watch our streams the Thursday mornings at this time, we typically have Robert Roy on. I'm going to trying to work with Robert about moving that time to later in the day. So I'll have an update for you hopefully later today or tomorrow about that. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Smash the like. I always get told I do a very poor job of asking for likes. So there we go. Like. Okay, for a free 2-week trial, Benzinga Pro, pro.benzinga.com. Enter the code YouTube20 to get 20% off your subscription. If you want to become a Benzinga Pro affiliate, you will get paid every time you send someone to Benzinga Pro. The link is on the screen, benzinga.partnerstack.com. You will earn a 30% commission every time you send someone to Benzinga Pro and they sign up for the service. So again, benzinga.partnerstack.com. Once again, thanks to Ryan and Mitch. Knows you need today. I hope he'll be back tomorrow.
Senate Majority Leader Schumer says procedural vote on possible bipartisan infrastructure deal could come as soon as Wednesday night.
Okay, so pot stopped going up finally for the moment. How are all my guys doing today? Let's look at my portfolio. Hey, look at that. Mostly green. You love to see it. You love to see it. Starbucks,
Boeing, BA,
not
Boeing
helping.
CEO says remain in active discussions with Chinese customers on their fleet planning needs. Says continue to engage with leaders in the U.S. and China to urge a productive dialogue. That's Bravo Alpha, Boeing.
All right, Squawk is turned off. That's a wrap for me. SPACs Attack coming up next. We're talking to Brett Parker, President and CFO of Bolaroo, going public via the SPAC ISOS. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Stay green, and I'll see you all later.